Okay, today I wanted to talk about my porn addiction. I hate that word so much. I hate porn to my core. And I hate it because I've been addicted to it for as long as I can remember. And it has impacted my life negatively in a series of ways in many aspects. But yeah, I'm here to talk about it because I think it's important to talk about as someone who has suffered from, not speaking up about it, seeing other people fall into it, seeing other people not speak up about it, and just seeing, the repercussions that it has on... I'm gonna close the window. Sorry. Planes flying over my house. It's really loud. I see so many negative repercussions that it has on people, and the repercussions that not speaking up about it can have as well on people. So I'm here to do exactly that. The first thing I'm going to talk about is just my story with it, how I ended up here, what happened. The first thing I can remember is when I was a little kid. I think I was like 8, 9, or 10. I was at home. I was pretty much home alone because my parents were out. They were both working, and I was left at home. So I started playing on the computer, playing Roblox as a 10-year-old kid would do in 2018. I don't remember if I was 10 years old in 2018. I just said some bullshit. I was at home, I was on the computer, and I don't even know where I saw the word porn. I think I just saw the word, and then out of curiosity I was like, what does that word even mean? So I looked it up, and then I fell on the site. At first I was weirded out. I did not know what porn was. I wasn't even... When I discovered what porn actually was, I wasn't even happy about it. I was confused. I was scared, actually. I was like... I didn't know what I was looking at. I was really... I didn't know what to think. Because at that age, it's like seeing that kind of stuff. People naked, doing what they're doing, and all that weird stuff. It's completely like a whole new world that is very different. Again, I wasn't really aroused by anything. I was just I don't know, I was a kid. I was just confused. So out of curiosity, I kept going back to it after a while. After a few days of going back on the site and just exploring in general, I started to, I guess, just have this feeling in my body, because even as a kid, I would remember I'm attracted to certain things. Every kid knows that. I mean, I don't know. I knew that as a kid. I knew what I liked, you know what I'm saying? So it didn't take much time for me to start feeling physically enticed by it. Just, is that even a word? That's the first time I've used that word. I don't even think that's a word. I'm gonna have to say, is that a word? I think a few years later, after that, I think it was a bit before high school, where I learned how to masturbate from watching videos of people doing it. And then I started trying it, and then when it worked the first time, I don't think there was anything else in the world that was more satisfying to me, so I just kept doing it, And I was doing it basically every day. And then at some point, I got into high school, and then high school made it so much... I think high school was the period of my life where I realized that I was addicted to porn. Which the addiction part came more at the end of high school, but in high school that's where everything got amplified, because you start hitting puberty, you start discovering yourself, you also meet other people, you meet other perspectives, you're surrounded by girls, boys, you start to grow, you start to see other people's bodies too, you start uncovering those type of topics with people, even if you don't necessarily want to sometimes. At least that was my experience. The concept of sex, sexuality, masturbation, porn, reproduction, all that stuff, it just became more prevalent in my life. I don't even know if that's a word. Is that even prevalent? What does that even... and then after a while, I was masturbating so much with porn, it was getting to a point where I was masturbating with porn so much that like it started actually impacting my behavior at school, at home. My social skills took a hit. I mean, I didn't have any social skills to begin with. It was high school, you know, but I was really not confident around people, around girls specifically. Had sex on my mind pretty much 24/7. As a little kid, like, I think I was so ruined by porn because, like, and I hate thinking about this now, like thinking back, I was aspiring to have sex so much. Like, I was so consumed by porn and seeing how much pleasure it provided me and seeing how much pleasure it provided to other people that I was like, when I grow up, that's like the first thing I want to do. When I grow up, the first thing I want to do is have sex with someone. Which, you know, thinking back now is like, I feel ashamed, but I mean, with understanding, obviously, you know, I'm not like bashing myself, but it's still crazy to think about. And then at some point I realized that I was addicted. I don't exactly remember like what clicked in me to think like, oh, I'm addicted, but I think it was kind of a slow burn. I was just like, okay, I'm doing it every day. It's taking a hit on multiple aspects of my life, but I'm still doing it. I'm still coming back to it. It's getting to the point where I care more about this pleasure that I'm getting than like going out with my friends, my family, my work, my job, school, everything. To the point where I would even disregard my own mental health. I would like miss hours of sleep to get hours on porn. And that's when I started really thinking about that. I was like, okay, I have a problem. This has become an addiction. I think that's when I really started looking a lot of videos online to like help me understand this thing better, which actually helped. There are a lot of resources online, whether it's like YouTube, people with similar experiences telling me that. But I was still, you know, in high school, I was still a teenager with I had a lot of friends, a lot of good influences, but a lot more bad influences around me that were also using porn, were also masturbating, and they didn't really understand me when I told them that like, I don't think this is good for me, I don't think this is good for any of us, I think I should stop, and I'm kind of worried. And they, you know, most people didn't really understand, like, whether it's girls, boys, if it's something that people deal with, it's not usually something that you're gonna be comfortable talking about, especially at that age, in that kind of environment. It's not something that we talk about. You know, you have sexual education, but it's kind of hard as a child to come to the realization that you have such an addiction, but you don't legitimately have anyone to talk about it to. Not even my family, because, you know, I'm Haitian, and if you're a Haitian, I don't really need to say anything. You understand, we don't talk about these kinds of things with kids and family. You just don't. Like, you talk about it maybe one time, and then never again. We talk about it when an accident happens and then it's too late, and oh, I accidentally got a girl pregnant, and that's when we talk about it, which is what I hate about, you know, my family. But anyway, that's what made it harder for me to actually decide to get rid of it, and it ended up making me want to push even further into it. But you know, there's still a point in life when you're so fond of something and you're so attached to something that you're willing to compromise everything. I don't know, like for example, I became so uncomfortable around people because all I could think about was sex. Like, it became really awkward to like be around people because I was like, do they see, like, what is my behavior like? Like, is my behavior changing? Is it something that people can see? Like, do people know what kind of person I am? Do people know what I do when I get back home? I felt so ashamed around people because I was like, if they find out this thing about me, I'm gonna lose all my friends. I'm gonna lose everything. They're gonna hate me. They're gonna think I'm disgusting. They're gonna think I'm this. They're gonna judge me. And it starts to weigh down on you after a bit. And the compromise for that was just, well, I'm not gonna talk to people. I'm not gonna talk to people about this thing. I'm just gonna pretend that I'm like somebody else. So I don't risk the chance of just losing my fucking reputation, even to my family. It was just like a lot of guilt, a lot of shame. And even with that intense pressure and self-guilt and judgment, I still kept doing it. And I guess every time that happened, it was just like a realization that, oh my god, I'm really addicted. But like, I really love this feeling. So like, you get so attached to something at such a young age, and you grow up and it becomes ingrained into your being, It's like, anyway, yeah. College was interesting because I met a lot of people that were not addicted to porn or masturbating, but I've met people who have a lot of sexual energy, who are very, I guess you could call them hypersexual, but it's not like something that they're just gonna, it's not something that they wear on their sleeve, you know what I'm saying? It's like, the person is very sensual, they are passionate about sex, they are passionate about intimate intercourse and all that stuff, but they're not addicted to it. They're not like, it's not something that harms an aspect of their life. They are not compromised by that in any way. It's just a part of their personality. And that helped me understand myself better by understanding other people's view of sex and perception of sex and understanding of sex. And it helped me understand my own perception of sex and my relation to sex through a screen and through other people. I am not passionate about sex. I'm passionate about the feeling that it gives me, which is where the real difference is. Because there are some people that, like, some of my friends are passionate about sex. It's not because they're sex addicts. It's something else. It's the way that the connection between you and your partner, it's like, sex is a way to express that. It's a way to express, the trust that you have in your partner, the trusting that you're able to be completely naked in front of your partner and be completely comfortable. That takes a lot of trust. And that's one of the things that is expressed through sex. It has nothing to do with pleasure. I mean, yes, but like, pleasure is just one element. There's so much more to sex than just orgasm, there's so much more. And people who, are sexual people, are sensual people, are just very passionate about sex, helped me understand that difference, and it helped me put that back into perspective. And that was like throughout most of college. I also met people who were also just like me, who were addicted to porn and sex in an unhealthy way, who were addicted in the pleasure of it, who were attached to it. A lot of times, that can be good, that can also be bad. If you meet someone, as someone who has a porn addiction, if I meet someone who has a porn addiction and we're both going through it, just because we both have it doesn't mean we have the same goal. If I feel like I'm struggling with it because I feel like it's harming my life, doesn't mean that they feel the same about their addiction. Some people are fine with it. And I thought I was fine with it, but it turned out that I wasn't actually fine, and I wanted to get rid of it. Being next to someone who had the same addiction but was completely comfortable in it and was trying to get me to be comfortable in it too was completely horrible, and it just made the job 10 times harder. Like, my internal conflict grew exponentially because there's a side in me that doesn't want it, that wants to break free, but there's a side of me that is still attached. So there's that inner conflict, and now with this person next to me, it's added onto that, which makes it makes the struggle harder. So yeah, I guess my answer to that would be surround yourself with the right people. If you have a porn addiction and you're struggling with it, I would encourage you to dive deep into yourself and don't run away from the struggle. A lot of people try to distract themselves with things. A lot of people will tell you to distract yourself by like putting your mind on something else. And I think that's part of it, but I also think it's a balance, If you feel like you're about to fall into it, sure, distract yourself. Go do something else. Distract your body, for it to not fall in the urge, but it's also a deal of just going inwards and understanding where that need for pleasure comes from. Because I know for me, at first I was just like, oh my god, this feels really good. Let me do it every day. But after a while, it stopped feeling good. It doesn't feel, I don't feel shit when I do it now. I don't feel a thing. You know what I'm saying? But the reason I do it is because now it's an emotional thing. Now it's a coping mechanism. Whenever I'm stressed, that's when I do it. It's a response to something. It's a reaction now. It's not just an action anymore. It's a reaction to something negative that's happening in my life, whether it's stress, whether it's a breakup, whether it's, I don't know, like I lost my job, whether it's I'm struggling to find a job, or I have no money, or the pressures of the trials and tribulations of life are weighing over me. Getting that daily like dose of dopamine spike in my brain helps me just forget about all that for like 5 minutes, and then it all comes back. It's useless. I don't feel anything out of it anymore. It's not about the pleasure, which I feel like for a lot of people it's easy to break free from the addiction when it's not necessarily linked to any emotional aspect like that. It's kind of just, oh, it's pleasure. Which is why a lot of people will tell you, oh, just find something else that makes you happy. For me, I can't do that because it's not about the dopamine anymore. It's about understanding, like, okay, I'll tell you what it is. For me, what I realized that my emotional like struggle with porn is that it's a substitute for human connection. I understood recently that human connection, being with people, talking with people, is what makes me truly happy. It's what like awakens my soul. Like I love just talking with people, whether it's like negative conversations or positive conversations, just having an energy exchange with people, hanging out with people, having conversations, just like crossing people in the street, talking to strangers. That is what fills me with good energy. That is what feels good. And that's something that I've been missing as a child for a long time. It's something that has been so, like, my heart has been screaming for me to do that. But because I never really learned how to ask that, for the longest time I didn't know how to accept it. Like, the universe would throw it at me. Like, people would come up to me and try to be my friend, and I would just be like, no, I'm really awkward, I'm really bad at making friends, so let me just stay in my little corner. But when I really started embracing the aspect of, you know what, no, I really need human connection. I need a hug, I need this, I need that. Hey, I'm not feeling okay, can I talk to you for a bit? This and that, and just getting that human connection that I need. It helped me also understand why I keep coming back to porn, because the feeling of like orgasm and having sex with someone, it's like the concept of it is a substitute for that exact human connection that I'm craving. And another reason why I understood that is because whenever I would actually talk to someone, or just like whether it's cuddling with my girlfriend, right? Like, just having that physical connection is an amazing way for me to deal with my porn addiction, because that's exactly what I need. It's something physical. It doesn't even have to be sex. I need physical connection. I need a physical, energetical exchange between me and a person that I love, you know? If that's, I feel like that is what my cure is, and that's what I try to battle my addiction with. I think if you're watching this and you have a porn addiction, I think the reason why I am addicted to it and the reason why you're addicted to it may be completely different, which is something that a lot of people miss. Just because we're addicted to it, just because we're all addicted to it, doesn't mean it's for the same reason, doesn't mean that doesn't mean my cure is gonna be your cure. And which is why I encourage people to delve deep within yourself and ask yourself, why are you addicted to this? And it's not necessarily an easy questioning, but it's something that's so essential to just understanding your relation to it. And also understanding that, okay, the other thing that I wanted to talk about is the fact that people think that, like, people give solutions that genuinely don't make sense. Or like, it doesn't even have to be like quitting cold turkey. It's just like, people forget that when you have a porn addiction, for as long as I've had one, it's something that is engraved into your body's mechanism. And what I mean by that is it's not only mental, it's also a physical struggle, because even if you're not thinking about porn, or at least for me, even when I'm not thinking about porn, my body will react to things, and then it'll make my mind react to it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's why a lot of times when I get an urge to masturbate, it's hard to fight it, and it's hard to stay away from it, because my body is literally fighting me. It's like, the best example I can use is, if you're hungry, right? Like, okay, the reason we eat food is to survive. Your brain is literally wired to make you do things to survive. Whether it's like sleeping, talking to people, drinking, eating, whatever. You have to do these things to survive. And your brain knows that. Your brain is convinced of that. And if you're hungry, you're gonna eat. If you go hungry for too long, if you try to not eat anything for 72 hours, I promise you, like after 2 days, there's a switch that's gonna, maybe even after like 1 day, there's a tiny switch that's gonna go off in you that's gonna urge you to eat something, because your brain is convinced that if you don't eat, you're gonna die. That's how it feels to fight an urge to watch porn at this stage in my addiction, at least. That's exactly how it feels. It's something that has given me pleasure for countless amount of times ever since I discovered the sites up to now when I'm like 19 years old. It is something that is so engraved in my body's mechanism that a part of my brain is convinced that this is something that I need to live. You know, it's like something that is vital for me, and if I don't do it, I'm genuinely gonna die. That's how it feels. That's why it's so hard. It's so gut-wrenching. It's so brutal. And that's a lot of times that's why it's hard to quit cold turkey. Which brings me to my next point. How to quit, basically. Or at what frequency should you quit? Basically what I'm saying is, there's different ways you can quit, and you need to find which way to quit suits you best. And it can be kind of an arduous path, because it's very easy to get discouraged, which honestly you will at some point, and you need to learn how to deal with discouragement. You need to learn how to deal with, okay, when you fall off track, how to not judge yourself, how to not hate yourself, how to not be hard on yourself, how to move on from it, essentially, you know? A lot of times when I would quit, I would try to count my days, which I have mixed feelings about counting your days. I think counting your days is bad for when you relapse, because when you relapse, it's like, especially if you have like a big streak, what happens is you'll relapse and then you're like, oh my god, I wasted all this progress and now I have to start from zero. And it convinces you that when you relapse, you're starting from zero, which is not true. When you relapse, you're not starting from zero. You're starting from where you left off, which I wish is something people understood more. When you relapse, you're not starting from the beginning, you're starting from where you relapsed. You're still going. You know what I'm saying? A relapse is part of the process. You're not restarting. It's just a very, very long path, but you got some way, you know, like you got somewhere. But you're not at the beginning. That's not true at all. That's totally fake. That's false news, okay? Oh my god, my camera decided to just stop recording. Shut your What I suggest is, if you're gonna count your days, I suggest that you count every day. Even if you relapse. Count the days that you relapse. I think you should do that because it's part of the process. It shouldn't be any different, and you're not starting from zero. Also, you should note your progress, or the difference at least. how you feel on day 1 versus how you feel on day 2 versus how you feel on day 3. You can feel the same for the first 3 days, and then on the 4th day it's super hard and you don't know why. Write it down or have a little voice memo. I do that, and that helps me because then I look back at it and it helps me keep track of what my triggers are, how I respond to them, how I feel when I'm, do I often get triggered when I'm tired, when I'm alone, when I'm energetic? When do I relapse? I don't look at my progress from I don't look at my progress from an emotional perspective anymore. I become purely like analytical, And I keep in mind that my goal is to get better regardless of if I relapse or not. And then there's the fact that a lot of people quit cold turkey, which is, well, in simple terms, just quitting forever, which a lot of times, if you can do that, then I congratulate you, and you are strong, and you're amazing if you're able to do that. But I'm sorry to tell you, a lot of times, it's just not gonna happen. That's, like, impossible, okay? After engaging in that habit, it stops being a habit, it becomes a lifestyle, and your body remembers it, So even if mentally you're free from it, your body is still gonna find a way to, like, fight you. Your body's gonna ask for the pleasure. Your body's gonna ask for it. And then it's gonna get even harder because it's like when you're dehydrated and you're thirsty, and you're really, really thirsty. Your body's gonna tell you, hey, I'm thirsty, give me water. And then you're gonna wanna drink water. And you can't not drink water because you're thirsty. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. It's like, because you've been drinking water all your life, and throughout your entire life, every single time that you're thirsty, you drink water. Every single time that you're stressed, you masturbate. You've been doing that your whole life, so your body's gonna respond accordingly. Which is why quitting cold turkey is, for me, impossible, because I'm gonna relapse. The moment that I decided that I'm gonna take the steps to rid my life of porn, I already quit. Whether I failed or not, I already quit. Just the action of deciding that you don't want this anymore, you've already quit. That is quitting. Regardless of the relapse and, oh, okay, I'm quitting again. No, I already quit. I'm still quitting. It's like quitting is a continuous thing. It's not a one-time event. And relapsing shouldn't stop you from chasing that goal, because it is an attainable goal, but a lot of times we convince ourselves that it's an unattainable goal. It's just very hard. But, I have a lot of determination in my heart, and usually what happens after that is, after a couple days, I'm back on track. I'm like, okay, let's do this one more time. And yeah, I've been doing that for a long time now, and I kind of just developed a mantra that, like, I keep telling myself, whether it's like every night before bed or just when I wake up or whenever I feel like I'm mentally gonna lose the fight and I'm eventually gonna relapse, I'm like, listen, like I don't know, I just talk to myself like, look, however many times I need to fail, I will succeed. However many times I need to fall, I'm gonna get back up. If I need to fail 500 more times for me to reach that goal, I'm gonna reach that goal. I'm gonna fall 500 times. I don't care. I'm gonna get back up. And just having that mentality helped me a lot. Also having people to talk to about it. This is my last point, and I'm gonna end the video on this. Talking to people about your addiction is a tricky thing, specifically porn addiction, because I feel like porn isn't really recognized as an addiction. I've read somewhere that it's also not scientifically recognized as an addiction per se. Honestly, I don't give a fuck. I don't think you give a fuck. I don't think anybody gives a fuck. I think we can all agree it's an addiction. Anyway, I don't have the money to see a therapist. I don't have the money to see a psychologist either. I don't have, all I can do is just, look for advice online, whether it's the form of, through videos like this. Talking to my friends about it can be a hassle, because there are a lot of people out there that do want to support me and that do want to help me and understand what I'm going through, even if they can't really do anything about it. Just having an ear to listen is always appreciated. You know, even if the problem that I have is not a problem that you'll probably ever have, it's still nice to understand that it doesn't exclude me from society. Like, I'm not like a creep of society, you know? Like, yeah, I don't know, that's just how I feel. There are a lot of people who are disgusted about porn, or about masturbation. There are a lot of people who, you know, they just don't know how to react to that. They don't know how to respond to that. A lot of people respond negatively to that topic, and I understand them, because, you know, it's not something that everyone goes through. I know a lot of people that, like, you talk to them about it, they're like, what are you talking about? Like, what is... At some point, even in high school, I would tell people about it, because I felt like I cannot keep this to myself. If I keep this to myself, I'm gonna go insane. I'm gonna lose my mind. I need someone to talk to. There are a lot of people that won't be receptive to it for various reasons, and it's okay to respect that. I don't think you should force that on people, like, listen, it's a part of life, like, listen, I'm not a weirdo. Listen, if someone thinks you're a weirdo because you're addicted to porn, let them go. They don't know. Listen, if I'm going through a porn addiction, I should not be ashamed to tell people what a porn addiction is, because I'm going through it. I should not be scared or afraid to get judged by people. Listen, if someone is gonna judge you for your porn addiction, and you know deep down that it's something that you're working on and you're actively taking the steps to free yourself from it, never hold yourself like in a prison of judgment from other people. You know what you are, you know what battles you're having, you know what you're fighting, you know what you're after. You're the one who is going through it, so you know what you're talking about. It's like me right now. I hate talking about my porn addiction, because it's, even if I know my shit, it's still not something that's easy to just like put out there. But I would not be true to myself if I would let myself be afraid to come out about it and just explain things about it, just because I think like some people are gonna judge me, or they're gonna cringe, or like, oh, you're addicted to porn, ew. Like, no one cares, okay? Get out there and say it. Seek help. But, you know, at the same time, don't like go out there and try to like make people understand what they don't want to understand. If they don't want to understand it, they don't want to understand it, you know? Don't hold yourself accountable for what other people's perception of the thing is. It's their perception. A lot of times that's what it is. It's like seeing stuff on social media, or, you know, people gossiping about, you know, I don't know. There's a lot of shit out there that makes it not easy to deal with porn and not easy to talk about porn, which is another reason why I'm talking about it, because seeing someone else talking about it with confidence can help a lot of times, and it convinces you that you're not alone. And it, you know, the way that people will demonize you, you know, you'll end up demonizing yourself too. You'll end up internalizing that and be like, I'm a weirdo, I'm a creep, I am disgusting, I am this, I am that. And listen, it's an addiction. It's not pretty. It's not supposed to be pretty. That's what an addiction is. It will ruin your life at some point. It will ruin you. It will ruin your image. You know, it's completely normal. And there are communities out there for things like this. There are groups of people out there who share their experiences and help each other to grow, and that's all I'm here for. I just want to share my experience with it. And this is not the only video that I'm going to be talking about porn. This is the first one, but it's not going to be the last one. I'm going to talk about it again, probably, because it's still something that I'm struggling with. It's not something that I've completely left behind, but it's something that I'm still actively going through. I don't think I have anything else for today. I think I'm going to leave you with that. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Be safe. Hug your mom. Hug your sister. Hug your brothers. Hug your siblings. Hug your dad. Tell him you love him. Take your meds. Take a shower. Don't forget to eat and drink. And, yeah.